Hello, I'm Matthew White. Now, do you own a holiday let that you let through the winter, or you own a holiday let that you're thinking of letting this winter, but are concerned about the new requirements for notice under residential lettings? If so, then I may have a solution for you. Now, I should caveat this solution with there are no guarantees because it's dependent on the tenant physically vacating. However, my solution relies on the landlord and the tenant working together to their mutual benefit. A landlord has a property that they want to let short term. A tenant looking for a short term let is usually motivated to vacate the property and let it purely for a short period of time. Now, these people could be between selling and buying a property, they may have insurance work being carried out on their property, or they may be on a short term job relocation. All three scenarios would require the property to be let for a short period of time, and thus the tenant is motivated to vacate. And it's these scenarios that I suggest you market your properties at. So, what is the solution? Well, the solution that I intend to use to navigate this situation is to, first of all, find the right tenant. That person who's between selling and buying a property, the person on a short-term job relocation, the person having insurance work carried out to their property. Then work with that tenant. Explain to them the need to have the property back by, say, Easter, the spring of the following year, in order that you can commence your holiday let program. The tenant should understand this. But you need to put some safeguards in place. The type of agreement that you set up is vitally important. What I mean by working with the tenant is that you need to encourage the tenant to give you notice to end the tenancy. Because you can't give notice to end the tenancy within the time frame that you're going to want it back, because the notice requirement on a residential letter is now 6 months. And if you create a fixed term tenancy, that notice can't be served on the tenant until the tenant's been in 4 months, thus a 10-month tenancy. That's no good. You're going to compromise your holiday lets going through into the spring and Easter of next year. So the way that I intend to navigate this situation is that I intend to set up a periodic tenancy from the outset. This means that when a tenancy is periodic, you can rely on the tenant giving you notice to quit. Now, notice to quit once given cannot be withdrawn. So there is no risk of that tenant withdrawing the notice, because once it's served, it cannot be withdrawn. This doesn't mean that the tenant will physically vacate. That's where there's no guarantee. Because if the tenant doesn't physically vacate the property at the end of the notice to quit they've given you, then you have to go through the court process to recover possession, which is going to be lengthy, costly, and will compromise your holiday let starting the spring Easter of the following year. And that's where the second stage of the solution comes in. In order to motivate, encourage that tenant to leave upon expiry of the notice to quit that you're going to work with them for them to give you when they start their tenancy, is to support that tenancy with a guarantor. Now, that guarantor, together with the tenant, would be made contractually liable for any penalties or expenditure that you would incur in the event that your holiday let, starting in the spring and Easter next year, would be compromised. So, 2 stages. First of all, find the right tenant and set up the right tenancy agreement. My suggestion, the way I'm going to deal with this issue, is that it will be a periodic tenancy from the outset. You then encourage the tenant to give you notice to quit, which cannot be withdrawn. And the second stage is that you secure a guarantor against the tenancy. So you've got a third party who's joint and severally liable with the tenant to be liable for penalties and expenditure in the event that any holiday lets are compromised. Now, if you'd like more detail about how I intend to navigate this situation, the type of tenancy agreement, the clauses in my tenancy agreement, the clauses in my guarantor agreement, then message me at Matthew White on Facebook. I hope you found this video of interest and the information within it useful. If you are thinking of holiday letting this year and you'd like to know more detail of how you can structure your tenancy in the way that I've just described, then please message me through Facebook at Matthew White. I hope you found this video of interest and the information within it useful. If you are looking at winter letting this year, please, please, please be careful. If you want details of how to set up a winter let, using the solution that I'm suggesting, then message me. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Goodbye for now.